Okay, so this is the second part of the video where I talk about game stuff that I want to make. I'm gonna say it again. The reason I don't develop these games I want to make is not because I don't want to or I can't or whatever. Right? It's not like procrastination. It's literally I don't always have internet. And stuff like Roblox, where's Unity? Unity, you need internet to actually access these things. So if my brother decides that I don't have internet one day, right, like the past couple years, well then I just can't use this type of stuff. On top of the fact that I don't know how to code, and recently to prepare for times like that, I've been recording simple videos from YouTube since they took away the download button.
Hello my fellow gnomes, and welcome to this guide on making custom characters for your Roblox game. This is probably one of my most...
Okay, so these types of videos, I've already tried to use code from some of them, and the issue is that I don't know what I'm doing, right? So some of the code, they tell you in some of these videos, the people actually understand reality. So they tell you, okay, so you change this part and it'll work. If you don't change it, it's not going to work, right? Like they do that courtesy, which is something where you if you're actually trying to learn how to make games, you cannot thank people enough for doing that. Because it's like, okay, now I can go into here and now I can identify what parts of the code I could move to other code, what parts of the code I could take the understanding and just use it in the future. You know what I mean? Like, but when people just give you all this code and then they're like, oh, you know, this is how you do it. And then you realize, oh, well, they didn't tell me what any of the code does while doing this. So on top of the fact that there's portions of the code that I can't use because they have that, I'm not going to know what the fuck to do. So it becomes like a lot of these YouTube tutorials are useless, not because YouTube tutorials are useless in coding, but because the people are making the videos in a useless way. Where it's like, okay, showing people code doesn't really help them. Now, describing what that code does, that really helps people, whether you take the help or not. I'm going to give an example with some code here. The code that I used a network error. Anyways, the code that I used for these walls here. Oh. Why is it loading in like this? I guess it's just a glitch. But anyways, this code for these walls, I can take the code in these walls right here, this script, and I can implement this into anything and it'll work if I do it properly. They described how this code worked in their video and then I labeled it in here. Right? So now I know if I ever want to make anything take damage, I just put this here, put this code, I change this word to whatever it is, right? Change that word to whatever it is, right? I'll need to label its parts. It won't be debris. Like what if I want to have arm and leg? You know what I mean? left arm, right? Like you can look at certain videos if they describe it properly, and then okay, like this is something that I could implement this code to anything, and it'll despawn after it takes a certain amount of damage. Like that's so helpful when you're trying to learn about coding and stuff. But it's like there's not enough people just breaking down the code that way. It becomes a real struggle to even learn anything from any of the videos. And I spent hours actually getting these videos, and now I labeled them like specific items, simple destructible, a bad destructible tutorial, advice for building maps, right? Like I label it pretty simple, but all of this information here, this is hours of videos that I recorded, hours and hours. This still isn't enough information to make a game. Like I would have to know a lot more. And sorry for the long rant, but this is just an explanation. This is just the actual reason why I don't make the game I want to make. Right? I also have health issues like heart failure and stuff, you know what I mean? So it's not right, like sometimes I'm in the hospital. Like it's not like I can just develop the game I want to make. That's the reason I want to do the series where I just tell people in the video all the parts of the game, and then like I see if anyone cares, you know what I mean? Because at this point I could literally tell you every single aspect of a game that I want to make. Like I have notes here. I have notes here where I'm just literally writing out every aspect of the game. And this isn't like delusional aspects of a game. This is like literally I understand games, right? Right, like I have coding goals, like I, you know, all this story making stuff. I got tons of stuff in terms of ideas. And before I end this video, right, I'm going to just talk about something in gaming very specifically here that annoys me. Because people make trash games on a regular basis and then sell it to people. So it annoys me that certain games don't exist. Like, we have all these fighting styles, Muay Thai, Judo, etc. Why isn't there a game where you can learn each hit? Right? So, let's say you have a 6-hit combo. You start your game off 3 hits, and you unlock the other 3 hits. But you can put any fighting style into each part of that 6-hit combo. So if you want a Muay Thai throw in your first hit, you can do that. If you want a judo kick in your last hit, you can do that. Right? Like why isn't there games that exist like that and then it has online? Like Absolver is the closest thing to that, and they didn't even do it well. They did it in a trash way, actually. And that's not even me being mean. That's like, it's actually kind of trash. Absolver is actually kind of trash. And it's not for incomplete reasons. It's because it's actually just kind of trash. Like, it's hard to explain because I don't have a lot of time in this video. But what I was just talking about, where you could just have each portion of an attack, like that should be like the bare minimum for games, right? Like there should be some type of bare minimum for games. Like, okay, if your game has double jumping, you need to have air combos and ground combos in your game. Don't make a double jump game and then you don't use the double jump because it was just an afterthought. There's certain shit that if games were being regulated, certain games probably wouldn't even have gotten sold. Because there's so many scam games out there that don't deliver on anything. And then they don't even work right. Devil May Cry is a good example of a game that doesn't even work right. But it's developed good enough to a point where people will just accept it. Right? Like Devil May Cry's combat system is phenomenal. But you can infinitely do any attack you want. That breaks any type of skill, any type of whatever that the developers think they were aiming for. And that's so fundamental. Like, it's actually stupid that they developed the game where you can, like, infinitely air cancel. Like, that takes away any point of learning anything else in the game. And it hurts the amount of people who can play the game. Because some people aren't even going to recommend that to people. Not because it's bad, but because it's like, well, there's no character customization. There's no open world aspects. There's no player hub where you go. Right? Like, there's so many things missing from Devil May Cry, but it's developed just enough to where you could be like, oh, well, I could go and enjoy myself, right? And, like, it's annoying that games do that. Because why? It makes no point. Because if you were an actual game developer, wouldn't you want anyone alive at any point in time to look at your game and say, ooh, I might buy that. Right? Like 1,000 years from now. No one, even if Devil May Cry was still on sale, no one would buy it. Because by then they make something better or the same that fixes the stupid issues that they had in Devil May Cry. Like having no story, no customization, having, like, there's tons of things they don't have. But that's just something that annoys me about video games. And the thing is that you can go into pretty much every game and talk about its actual garbage aspects. Like the Naruto game series. Like Grand Theft Auto. Like there's tons of aspects where you can just talk about it. Like, y'all are operating the game industry at a very low level for no reason. Y'all could be operating this shit much better. Right? Like, just a good example for me is like, okay, Devil May Cry's game system has its spam flaws, but certain aspects to it, if you made a Dragon Ball Z character and then you made him like Dante, that would be the best fucking Dragon Ball Z game to ever exist. Like, it's just so many things that when I'm thinking about it, it's like, it's just annoying because it's like these games, I've never seen people hate to make money so bad. You know what I mean? Like, I just never seen people hate to make money so bad. And that's where I'm gonna end the video.